Welcome back to my channel, World History Explored. From its early roots as the city-state of Aššur, the region flourished under the patronage of the deity Aššur, expanding into a formidable territorial power known as Mat Aššur. Despite external threats and political shifts, Aššur thrived as a hub of trade and commerce, leaving an indelible mark on Mesopotamian history. The rise of the Middle Assyrian Empire, led by visionary rulers like Ashurbanipal I, propelled Assyria to unprecedented heights of conquest and influence. Through triumphs and tribulations, the secrets of ancient Assyria endure, woven into the fabric of its enduring legacy and the resilience of its people across the ages. Mysteries of ancient Assyrian governance. Ancient Assyria's political landscape reveals a complex interplay between divine authority and human governance. In the early era, the city-state of Aššur operated as an oligarchy, with the king serving as a prominent figure presiding over the city assembly. While not absolute rulers, these kings acted as stewards of the god Aššur, symbolizing primus inter pares among the influential families. However, under Shamshi-Adad-Vast, Assyria experienced a shift towards autocracy inspired by Babylonian models. Subsequent kings of the Middle and Neo-Assyrian periods adopted increasingly grandiose royal titles, portraying themselves as divine intermediaries, responsible for upholding cosmic order through imperial expansion. Expansion was viewed as a moral duty, sanctioned by Aššur, with resistance deemed defiance against divine will. Alongside their religious roles, kings also served as judicial figures and guardians of Assyria's welfare, epitomized as shepherds of their people. Through these multifaceted roles, the secrets of ancient Assyria's governance come to light, reflecting a dynamic blend of divine authority and earthly responsibility. The capitals of ancient Assyria also shifted over time, reflecting changes in political and strategic priorities. Aššur served as the capital from around 2025 to 879 BC, after which it moved to Nimrud, 879-706 BC. These changes in capitals underscored the dynamic nature of Assyrian governance and its adaptability in response to shifting political landscapes and strategic needs. Decoding the enigma of ancient Assyrian capitals. The concept of a capital city, as we understand it today, didn't exist in the ancient Assyrian lexicon. Instead, the Assyrian kings established cities of kingship, administrative hubs where they wielded power. Despite Assyria's growth from the Aššur city-state, Aššur retained its ideological significance throughout Assyrian history, serving as a ceremonial center even when administrative power shifted elsewhere. The king, as the embodiment of Aššur, symbolized Assyria itself, making the capital wherever he resided. The first shift away from Aššur occurred under Tukulti-Ninurta I, who established Kartukulti-Ninurta but later reverted to Aššur. Subsequent Neo-Assyrian kings, like Ashurnasirpal II and Sargon II, changed capitals to Nimrud and Dur-Sharrukin, respectively, with each city symbolizing royal power. Sennacherib later moved the capital to Nineveh, 705 and 612 BC, while Haran served as a short-lived final capital, 612-609 BC, after the fall of Nineveh. These shifts reflect not just strategic considerations, but also ideological statements, shedding light on the complexities of ancient Assyrian governance. The elite of ancient Assyria. The upper echelons of ancient Assyrian society offer a glimpse into the power structure of the time, with more information available about the upper classes than the lower ones. At the pinnacle were the aristocratic houses, comprising long-established families who wielded significant influence in government offices. Among these, the position of vizier, especially the grand viziers, held considerable sway, often filled by members of the royal family, and passed down hereditarily. In the Neo-Assyrian Empire, the elite expanded to include various offices divided into magnates and scholars. Magnates controlled significant military forces, governed provinces, and owned large estates. However, towards the late Neo-Assyrian period, A shift occurred, with eunuchs rising in power and occupying key administrative and military positions. This shift led to a growing divide between the traditional elite and the kings. Additionally, an annual office, the Limu official, elected by influential men, held significant sway, though its executive power waned over time. These revelations shed light on the intricacies of ancient Assyrian society and its power dynamics. Mastering governance in ancient Assyria. The remarkable success of Assyria wasn't just about conquest, but also about its adeptness in governing the lands it acquired. From the Middle Assyrian period onwards, the Assyrian territory was organized into provinces, each overseen by a provincial governor responsible for maintaining order, safety, and economic stability. These governors managed local resources and production, ensuring compliance with central regulations. Additionally, a hierarchy of officials, including village managers and corvée officers, facilitated efficient administration at the grassroots level. Some regions operated as vassal states, either allowing local rulers to continue under Assyrian suzerainty or installing Assyrian-appointed vassals. The empire's governance was supported by an advanced communication system, enabling rapid transmission of official messages across vast distances, a feat unmatched until the advent of the telegraph centuries later. These insights illuminate the sophisticated administrative machinery that underpinned the prosperity and expansion of ancient Assyria. The military might of ancient Assyria. The Assyrian military, primarily comprised of levies mobilized during campaigns, boasted impressive organizational prowess from the early Middle Assyrian period onwards. While a small standing army unit, known as the King's Unit, emerged in the Neo-Assyrian Empire, most troops were raised as needed. Some professional troops, like archers and charioteers, existed in the Middle Assyrian era, although their exact roles remain unclear due to limited sources. Over time, the army evolved, with foot soldiers categorized into weapon and shield-bearing troops. Chariots, introduced extensively by Tiglath-Pileser I, eventually gave way to cavalry, marking a significant shift. The Neo-Assyrian Empire witnessed further military advancements, including the widespread use of cavalry, the adoption of iron weaponry, and innovative siege tactics. At its zenith, the Neo-Assyrian army stood as the most formidable force in history, likely numbering several 100,000 soldiers. This military juggernaut was organized into subdivisions, each consisting of infantry categorized by weaponry and armor. Interpreters and guides, often foreigners resettled in Assyria, played crucial roles in campaign logistics, underscoring the empire's multifaceted military strategies. The social structure of ancient Assyria. In the fabric of ancient Assyrian society, farmers formed the backbone, toiling on family-owned land. Initially divided into enslaved people and free citizens, societal complexity increased over time. In the Middle Assyrian Empire, free men, though distinct from the upper classes, could obtain land in exchange for government service. Beneath them were the unfree, who voluntarily entered servitude but could regain freedom by providing a replacement. Lower classes included village residents, and those recruited through the Ilku system. Their exact status and living conditions were less clear. This social structure persisted into the Neo-Assyrian period, with opportunities for upward mobility through bureaucratic service. Family units often coalesced into tribes, settling near agricultural lands. Slavery, ubiquitous in the ancient Near East, encompassed chattel slaves, often foreigners, and debt-enslaved people, the latter arising from unpaid debts or seized children. Though ethnic origins were less emphasized, enslaved people were integral, yet never formed a significant portion of the population. Terminology for enslaved people was diverse, with some ambiguities between free servants and true enslaved people, reflecting a nuanced social reality. The roles of women in ancient Assyria. Insights into the lives of ordinary women in ancient Assyria emerge from administrative records and legal codes, highlighting their legal equality with men during the Old Assyrian period. women freely engaged in education and business, with rights to property ownership, trade, and divorce. Marriages entailed dowries belonging to the bride, and wives were tasked with providing for their husbands, although husbands could seek heirs through enslaved women if their wives were infertile. However, societal expectations and obligations varied between genders, shaping distinct roles and socialization. The Middle Assyrian period saw a decline in women's status, reflected in laws that curtailed their rights and subjected them to harsh punishments. Yet not all laws were suppressive, providing support for widowed or destitute women. Despite societal challenges, royal and upper-class women in the Neo-Assyrian period, trade and economy of ancient Assyria. During the Old Assyrian period, Aššur thrived as a bustling hub of international trade, engaging diverse occupations from porters to bankers. Extensive cuneiform records provide insights into the intricacies of this trade, revealing vast exchanges of silver, textiles, tin, and livestock between Aššur and Anatolia. Assyrian colonists played a pivotal role in importing goods from distant regions like southern Mesopotamia and the Zagros Mountains. However, as international trade waned in the 19th century BC, the Assyrian economy shifted towards state-centric control. In the Neo-Assyrian period, the state emerged as the dominant economic force, monopolizing agriculture, manufacturing, and mineral exploitation. At the same time, this centralized economy favored the elite. A vibrant private sector persisted, with individuals enjoying property rights safeguarded by the government. Thus, the secrets of ancient Assyria's economy reveal a complex interplay between state control and private enterprise, shaping the empire's prosperity and social structure. Assyrian identity across time. The concept of Assyrian identity, rooted in self-perception and cultural affiliation, took shape early in ancient history, with distinctive practices and beliefs defining the Assyrian people. Although ancient Assyrians had a broad notion of identity, focusing more on loyalty to the Assyrian king and adherence to cultural norms rather than strict ethnic delineations, a cohesive Assyrian identity emerged. This identity transcended rigid ethnic boundaries, emphasizing allegiance to the Assyrian Empire and cultural assimilation. Notably, Assyrian rulers like Sargon II sought to integrate diverse populations into Assyrian society, fostering a shared identity through cultural education and assimilation policies. Despite changes over time and foreign rule, the Assyrian cultural legacy endured, shaping the region's demographics and traditions for centuries. In modern times, while self-designations and perceptions of Assyrian identity have evolved, a strong connection to ancient Assyria persists among Assyrian communities, affirming their enduring legacy and cultural heritage. Language of ancient Assyria. The primary language spoken and written by the ancient Assyrians was Assyrian, a Semitic language closely related to Babylonian, another Akkadian dialect spoken in southern Mesopotamia. Despite being considered dialects of Akkadian by modern scholars, ancient authors viewed Assyrian and Babylonian as separate languages. Over the vast expanse of ancient Assyria's history, the Assyrian language evolved into distinct periods: Old Assyrian, Middle Assyrian, and Neo-Assyrian. The earliest texts in Old Assyrian are relatively easier to decipher due to their simpler and fewer cuneiform signs. However, deciphering the language itself remains challenging due to possible alternative readings. In later periods, both Assyrian and Standard Babylonian were used for different purposes, with Babylonian serving as the language of high culture and official documents. The Assyrian language persisted into the post-imperial period but eventually declined, possibly supplanted by Aramaic by the end of the 6th century BC. Despite its eventual decline, the Assyrian language played a crucial role in preserving the cultural and administrative heritage of ancient Assyria. The linguistic tapestry of ancient Assyria. Ancient Assyria boasted a diverse linguistic landscape, influenced by the conquests and migrations that shaped its history. Unlike other empires, the Assyrians didn't impose their language on conquered territories, allowing Aramaic to spread as a lingua franca gradually. By the Neo-Assyrian period, Aramaic had gained prominence, becoming the language of administration alongside Akkadian. As Assyria fell, the Aramaic supplanted Akkadian entirely. Today, modern Assyrians preserve their heritage through Neo-Aramaic, a descendant of ancient Aramaic enriched with Akkadian influences. Syriac, a liturgical language, serves as a link to their Christian heritage. While Sumerian was used in scholarly pursuits and various local languages thrived, it was Aramaic that left the most enduring mark on ancient Assyria's linguistic legacy. Ancient Assyria's architecture and art. Ancient Assyria's architectural wonders and artistic treasures offer us a glimpse into its rich history. Surviving buildings unearthed through archaeological digs reveal the use of mud brick and limestone in construction, with intricate details like stepped merlons and vaulted roofs distinguishing Assyrian architecture. Documentation, both contemporary and later, supplements our understanding, shedding light on structures that may have faded with time. From grand palaces to elaborate temples, Assyrian constructions display remarkable technological prowess and cultural influences. Artifacts like statues, reliefs, and seals depict scenes of worship, rulers, and mythical beings, reflecting diverse artistic styles and influences. The Neo-Assyrian period in particular showcases monumental art like wall reliefs and colossi, providing insights into royal propaganda and cultural expression. Meanwhile, literary works preserved in libraries like that of Ashurbanipal offer narratives of kingship, divinity, and myth, underscoring the Assyrian penchant for knowledge preservation and cultural heritage. Ancient Assyrian religion and Christian heritage. Exploring the ancient beliefs of Assyria reveals a complex pantheon of gods, with Aššur reigning supreme as the national deity. This polytheistic tradition, similar to Babylonian worship, a structured society with rituals centered around temples and divine hierarchy. Over time, Aššur's role evolved from a god of agriculture to a militaristic deity, reflecting shifts in Assyrian culture and politics. Despite Assyria's vast empire, religious practices varied regionally, with temples serving as both centers of worship and economic hubs. However, unlike some empires, Assyria didn't impose its religion on conquered territories, fostering a diverse religious landscape. As Assyria's power waned, its religious legacy endured, blending with influences from Greek, Jewish, and later Christian traditions. The rise of Christianity marked a significant shift, shaping Assyrian identity and sparking denominational divisions that persist to this day. Despite theological differences, efforts towards ecumenism demonstrate a shared spiritual heritage and a quest for unity among Assyrian Christians. So that's all for today's video. If you like it, click the like and bell buttons on my channel, World History Explored. We'll have another video for you soon. Take care until then.